All right, everybody. Australia recognizes Palestine. Could this be a game changer? Let's unpack this and dive in. All right, guys, welcome back to The Baseline. Thank you so much for joining me. I want you to picture this. You're at a pub in Sydney, Friday night, sipping a drink, when suddenly the bartender leans over and says, "Oh, by the way, mate, Australia just recognized the state of Palestine." Yeah, that just happened. So Canberra just dropped one of the boldest foreign policy moves of the decade. And the question the rest of the world is asking, did Australia just do what Washington, London, and Ottawa are too scared to do? So congratulations to Australia and all the people of Australia. It's really brave to make this stand, right? But this isn't just a headline. This is Australia looking the world in the eye and saying, we've seen enough blood, enough excuses, enough peace talks that go nowhere. It's time to move. And let me tell you, when Australia moves, people notice. Remember, this is the country that helped found the UN system back in the 1940s. They don't posture, they act. And this act could change the way you, us, all of us, whether or not you're in Texas, Toronto, or Tottenham. Pay attention to the Middle East, because if momentum builds, oil prices, trade flows, refugee policy, all of it starts to shift. Now, here's what I want to unpack with you guys tonight. Why is Australia, not the US, not the UK, not the EU, the one stepping up first? And what did Palestinians actually promise to make this deal happen? Well, spoiler, it's not just nice words. And why does this scare Netanyahu more than any protest could in Tel Aviv? So stick with me, because this is one of those geopolitical moments where if you blink, you'll miss the plot twist. Now, before we get into all this, let's just give it up for Australians just for a second. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. You people turned Vegemite into a national treasure. You convinced the world kangaroos are cute when they're basically jacked deer with boxing gloves. And now you've just convinced the international community that courage can still exist in politics. And I think that's such an impressive thing. And Australia calls it, right? Recognition with conditions. Now, Albanese didn't just wake up and say, we're recognizing Palestine. No, he says this: we'll recognize you because you made concrete commitments. And the Palestinian Authority promised to hold elections, to demilitarize, to stop the controversial prisoner payments program that critics say fueled a lot of the violence. Now, they even pledged to clean up governance and let international monitors check the school books. Now, that's not symbolic. That's receipts. And it's a good thing and a good step forward if it can work out, right? Now, the Arab League joins in, and it's historic. In July at the UN, Arab states publicly told Hamas to step down, disarm, hand Gaza to the Palestinian Authority. And that's like your whole extended family showing up at Christmas and finally telling Uncle Steve, hey, you're cut off. No more. Put down the bourbon. You've never seen it happen, but when it does, the whole room changes, doesn't it? Now, Israel's moves risk closing the door, though, because at the same time, Israel's government is approving new settlements, including the infamous E1 project, right in the middle of West Bank land that would connect a future Palestine or a Palestinian state. Now, UN experts say it's illegal, and rights groups say settler violence is rising. Now, Israel says final borders are up to negotiation. But here's the problem. If you build a house before you negotiate the land, what's left actually to negotiate? Now, what's the human cost? And while all this plays out, Gaza remains in catastrophe. The UN says aid is still blocked, hospitals are broken, and kids are starving. Israel insists it's about vetting shipments for weapons. But the reality is civilians are trapped in this crossfire. Now add the hostages still held since October 7th, and you've got a humanitarian crisis with no pause button. Now let's talk about Australia's history, okay? And this comes full circle. And here's what makes this historic. Australia helped birth the modern state of Israel in 1947. H.V. Evatt chaired the UN General Assembly back then. And Canberra voted for the partition plan. Now, nearly 80 years later, Australia is saying, look, the job's not finished until both peoples have a state. Now, that's not betrayal, that's consistency. That's the same principle carried forward. Now, this courage that Australia is showing, I believe it inspires courage. So courage inspires courage. And here's where this becomes bigger than Palestine or Israel. When a mid-sized democracy, 26 million people, not a superpower, but certainly a power, stands up and says, we're done waiting for perfect conditions, it gives cover for others. So watch Canada, watch Ireland, watch Spain, watch even some states in the United States whisper, if Canberra can do it, why can't we? Now, here's the moment, right? And the moment of truth. Australia just showed the world what courage can look like. Courage tied to conditions, not chaos, for solutions, right? And the question now is, who's going to follow? Because if Washington or London keeps dragging their feet while the map is being redrawn in concrete and blood, then this Australian pivot might be remembered not just as bold, but as the last real chance. Now, if you think this is wild, wait until you hear what's happening next in Europe. Because when Brussels moves on this issue, that's a plot twist I wonder if the world's going to be ready for. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Drop your comment in the section below. Let me know if you guys think I got this right or wrong, or if you want to add something or correct. I read all the comments. And once again, I want to appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching the baseline. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next round. All right. Cheers, everybody.